Mistrial in the Donald Trump case. It could happen. It absolutely can happen. Don't listen to anybody else on this except a select few who are aware of this letter and its import. There may have been some jury misconduct, big time. Now, some are saying that what I'm obsessed with, a letter that came out on Friday, is not important. The judge issued a very important letter. If that letter isn't important, I'll show you in a moment. Is this stuff important?
Front page of the New York Times, front page of the Washington Post, front page of the Huffington Post, front page of multiple news outlets today coming out of this that Trump appeared to fall asleep on the first day of his trial.
There has been reporting from the Bulwark signaling that Trump allies have set their eyes on one particular juror who allegedly made some kind of friendly eye contact with Trump.
Juror number 2 is a nurse. She gets her news from the New York Times, CNN, Google, and has a Facebook.
Wow. Anything about this jury during the trial was super duper breaking news important. Juror number 7 seated in Trump hush money trial. Breaking news. Also, everything the judge does is really important, right? I mean, the fake news, every little move, it's breaking news.
As you've noted, with respect to Judge Marchand, I mean, I am like now, I have like a man crush on him. He is such a great judge.
Judge Marchand has a great reputation. He is known to run a tight courtroom.
He is simply the most mild-mannered and fair judge.
Judge Marchand is really controlling his courtroom and keeping things moving along, keeping them smoothly.
He's done a fantastic job.
Okay, he's fantastic. The jury is so important. Every little detail of this case is important, globally important, it seems. So when a judge sent a letter to the prosecution and the defense Friday afternoon, it was and is a big, big deal. June 7th, Friday, from Judge Marchand to the defense counsel, Todd Blanche, the prosecution, Joshua Steinglass. It reads as follows, and this letter is still alive. It's still applicable. I know it's a little bit dim here, but dear counsel, today the court became aware of a comment that was posted on the Unified Court System's public Facebook page, and which I now bring to your attention. In the comment, the user, Michael Anderson, states, take a look at this, my cousin is a juror and says Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for all your hard work. Okay, next in the letter, please. The comment, now labeled as 1 week old, responded to a routine UCS notice posted on May 29, 2024. And you can go to the link in the next thing. He actually provides the link. Now, May 29th of 2024, that was 1 day before the jury reached their verdict. And you remember it came out late in the afternoon. Is it possible that a jury told his cousin, Michael Anderson, or somebody that we're going to convict him tomorrow? Because that would be totally illegal. It would suggest that the juror made up their mind prematurely before anybody else. It's mistrial. It's mistrial from beginning to end. If this checks out. Now, everybody has been trying to say, well, no. Internet sleuths have proven that this is not real. Well, this letter is real. The court hasn't said anything else about it. I think it's worthy of discussion, at least. Now, what is the fake news? What do they think is worthy of discussion? In the hours after this letter came out, they knew all about it, but what were they fixated on?
And one final spin for Pat Sajak. Tonight, Vanna White here at her emotional goodbye. And what Pat Sajak once said about why Wheel of Fortune has connected so many.
Mr. Cooper, I know that you are a Jeopardy fan.
Okay, yeah.
But can you get this puzzle and prove to us that you can do Wheel of Fortune? Please, for the love of God.
Pat Sajak's last day at work. Wow. No, we're not going to talk about the mistrial that could be in the offing. They're trying to cover it up, ignore it, pretend it didn't happen, and possibly get to the judge and make sure it doesn't happen. Pat Sajak, I don't care. I don't care about the Wheel of Fortune. I don't think nobody has any time for game shows going forward. This is pretty wild, don't you think? They said, the internet sleuths, oh, it was just a, what do they call them? Yeah, an SH poster, right? A trash poster. Folks, got to admit, I've done some of this in my life, and you sprinkle the truth in as well. You know, they don't know what they're talking about. This could be the real deal. And there are about 4 people in the country talking about it. I know the Trump defense lawyers are all over it. Stay tuned. This could be pretty wild. That letter. Hey, what else are they talking about? Sorry, I got to skip ahead to. No, not the letter. Not the letter. We won't, because that's already been debunked. It hasn't been debunked. Binary, non-binary, transgender, LGBTQ issues. And this one, I don't know. CNN, the network, they moderated, they narrated the Gulf War. Remember that? Look at where they are now.
Earlier or last week, the previous Thursday, I was attempting to use the restroom during school. And while I was in the stall, another student looked over said stall and stared at me before calling me a homophobic slur. And after I had tried to quickly leave the restroom, I was continuously insulted in the hallway before being punched directly in the jaw, fracturing it in 2 places and scattering parts of my own tooth in my mouth.
Your tooth actually broke in your mouth after the hit?
That's right. I noticed because there was something in my mouth that wasn't there before.
I mean, I can't even imagine what that felt like.
I have just no idea what it feels like to get punched in the face. None. We had those 100-year-old guys at D-Day the other day, right? What was that like? I can't imagine what that was like, storming Normandy. Getting punched, I wish nobody got punched in the face in high school. I got punched in the face in high school, junior high school, middle school, you name it, all right? It happens. It's part of growing up. But this kid, I believe, was set up by our sick culture. I have compassion for him. I know what it's like to be bullied. I even bullied a few people. You know, maybe being young is possibly a time for conformity, just a little bit, right? Because all this stuff is 10 minutes old. You know, we've been around for a couple of 100,000 years. I feel for the father, too, but I'm a little bit annoyed at him.
There's not anything worse that could happen to a parent, really, is, somebody going after your child, especially for, these reasons, which are, beyond, comprehension as to why someone would, target another person just for trying to be who they are.
That be who you are part. You don't necessarily know as a kid. You're growing, you're whatever. But then again, Joe Biden is saying that I have your back to all the transgender, non-binary, whatever is going on here. I'm sorry, conformity, it's actually kind of healthy. I mean, take a look at this kid's name. It's Cobalt Sovereign. Take a look at the father's name. It's not that. Can I have Mark Walzoni? All right, too much living your own truth. You don't know anything when you're 17, and the kid who punched you didn't know anything either. But there it is on CNN, and they're blowing off the possible mistrial, okay? I don't care what your internet sleuth said. It's a possible mistrial, and that jury is important. You know what it raises? Questions about, maybe we should have, what's that word again? Sequestered the jury. They do that in cases. George Zimmerman, remember the Trayvon Martin case? They sequestered the jury. They sequestered the jury in the Bill Cosby case. They sequestered the jury, of course, in the O.J. Simpson case. But in this big case that the whole world was talking about, they did not. Maybe they wanted the jury out there among the people, reading, listening to what people in this far left town were saying. All right, the media, dopey. You can't just write them off as dopey and stupid and biased, though. There's something a lot worse going on, a lot worse. Now, there they are. Look, they're all focused on stuff that probably, well, they should turn their cameras around the other direction and look at other issues. Real quick, we all saw Joe Biden in Normandy. It was bad, right? Didn't know what he was doing, didn't know where he was, really bad. How about the part, I didn't see this until today, where he turned around in the middle of the, he sat down once, right? Sat down in the chair that wasn't there. That was pretty bad. Yeah. And then he just turned around for no reason. Watch this. I'll give it to Emmanuel Macron. He's a classy guy. He turned around so Joe wouldn't look so strange. And the media said, oh, it was just a beautiful day all around. No word about any of this stuff.
President Biden, who honored these heroes today, and the poignant moment at the Normandy American Cemetery here with President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden.
All right, they were all doing that. They were all kind of, oh, wasn't this amazing? So this coverage hurts all of us in a way I didn't really contemplate before. Sure, they think they're giving Joe Biden a break, and they think they're sticking it to Donald Trump, but they're really sticking it to all of us, everybody. We know the situation at the border, right? How many people have gotten in illegally since Joe Biden has become president? 8 million people. That's a lot. Now, we know that Joe Biden finally took executive action, which isn't working reportedly, but he took executive action a couple of days ago. Listen to how the fake news asks him about this.
Let me ask you about one of the major issues back home, immigration, and your executive action in recent days on the U.S.-Mexico border. As we sit here today, that border has been shut down between legal ports of entry. In January, you were asked if there was anything else you could do about the border, and you said, I've done all I can do. What changed here, and why did you do this back then?
I'll take it from here, David. Because you weren't applying any pressure. Joe Biden could say, you guys weren't asking. I had no reason to. And part of the press, they're supposed to, hold the powerful accountable. They love to do that. Well, David Muir has had ample opportunity to ask President Joe Biden questions. Last year, he didn't ask one question, no pressure whatsoever, about the border. Same goes for the year prior. No questions about the border. He sits down with Kamala and Joe Biden during the campaign. No questions about the border. And this goes throughout the fake news. Norah O'Donnell loves showing up with that great big head of hair. Never asks him about the border. Same goes for Lester Holt and his stylish clothes. Never asks him about the border. Multiple major press conferences. Joe Biden can skate without getting pressed about the border. Now, what do the media ask him? Questions that basically are not on our mind. NATO, Ukraine, democracy, climate change, stuff like that. So meanwhile, there's no urgency to fix the border, and that's where they fail. They fail us, they fail themselves, although they'll never realize it because they're so arrogant and self-righteous.
To gird our democracy, we reporters believe that in the United States, no man or woman who holds or seeks power is above being questioned. Our democracy depends on journalists shining light and truth upon darkness and lies, and bringing accountability to officials at every level of our government.
To inspire more great work from so many of you, when true facts, real accountability, and well-reported insights are so vital.
We seek to open eyes, change lives, and change minds. And when we're at our best, our stories bring accountability to those in power.
Well, you're at your worst these days because you blew off one of the biggest issues that everybody is talking about and thinking about, except in the media, the border. And this isn't just, it would be nice to have fewer illegal migrants. 8 million people in this country illegally. Someone made this observation. How many people hit us on 9/11? How many hijackers? Yeah, 19. 19 were able to pull off 9/11, and we got 8 million people totally unvetted. Thanks for nothing, fake news, but we're on the case. I'll be right back.